What's up, guys? Today we're going to look at how to play against the Kan Sicilian, but before we get into it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more great opening videos, and a happy early Christmas to everyone in Atlanta. If you haven't looked outside your window yet, make sure to check out the snow, especially to those of you who just went to Florida today. Good luck driving. So here the Kan Sicilian is going to start with e6. Now we're going to go d4, take, and now we're going to see three main variations. a6 you're not going to see as much, but here we just go bishop d3. And after knight f6, queen e2, knight c6, now knight b3. This is kind of the key idea. So here we're going to avoid knight b3 in some lines, because instead of a6, they're going to have d5. And d5 is black's kind of #1 way to equalize in the Kan. But here, since we wasted a move on a6, we're not as scared of d5. So here we would just develop our pieces naturally. So like d6, knight c3, bishop d2, castle. And here you're going to see the complete development. Our rook's going to go to e1. We're going to go f3, rook h3, and then we're going to get e5 in and have an attack against this king. Those positions are always super fun. So now instead of a6, what we're going to see is probably knight f6. This is probably the main one. Knight c6 you'll see a lot too. So here we're going to go knight c3. So previously I was scared of bishop b4, but here we can go e5. And now remember, when this bishop moves, this pawn becomes weak. So we're going to attack this pawn with queen g4. Now if they take on c3, we'll see in this variation, knight e4, queen g4, take, we play take on g7. And now if knight e4 check, we just have c3, and now he has to worry about the rook and the bishop. And there's no way to guard both, and it's not going to be worth sacrificing this whole king side to kind of just do this position. So instead, you'll probably see rook f8, trying to play patient. Now we have a3. So here this knight has no good discover checks. So here if he goes knight b4, we just take here. And now we're going to go bishop h6. So if he takes on c2, we can just play king here. And now we have to worry about both this rook and this knight. And remember, this is going to be checkmate. So this is going to be very strong. So we probably see queen e7, take the knight, and then this rook's going nowhere. We're going to be up an exchange. So instead of take on c2, you'll probably see queen e7. Now we go bishop d3, and we're going to wait to take this rook. Once we take this rook, all the pressure is gone. So we're going to keep the pressure, because here black doesn't really have an easy way to develop. So here we take on h7. This bishop and rook are doing nothing. We threaten c3 right now, winning a piece. And then, for example, if knight c6, we're just gonna, if knight d5, we're just gonna bring our pieces into the attack like this, and just have kind of a dominating strangle on black's position. So that's what we're gonna do if they kind of go for this c3 idea, this knight on c3. So instead, you'll see some other variations. So that's going to be like, so here look at knight d5, and now queen g4 and a castle. Now we go bishop h6, g6 is forced, and we can take here. And remember, he can't take here, because here we can play bishop takes bishop. Bishop comes back from the other side. So here we'd just be up in exchange, queen takes. Now we go queen g3, support this. He goes queen c5, we have this nice a3 move, kind of saving our position. Take here. And now rook c1. And after here, bishop here, and take on e5, we just castle. We're going to be up in exchange. And once again, these pieces are once going to be kind of useless. And we're going to have a huge edge in development. And he's going to have a lot of weaknesses in this position, especially with these dark squares. So that's what happens if he goes for this c3 knight again. So here, a couple other sidelines after bishop b4, you can see queen a5. Here we take on f6, take, and here. Now he has to take the rook, otherwise he's going to be down a piece. Now we take on g7, and here we go c3. Our idea is trapping the queen, knight b3, and bishop d3. So he can't take the pawn on g7. What he has to do is go queen b1, now bishop d3. And you can see we're already getting so much development. And here our idea is just take on h7, and he has to give up the rook for the pawn, and then we're just going to have a very nice position. Not only does he have an open king, but we're going to be up a piece. So I'd be super happy there. So that's what happens if this queen a5 sideline, so don't worry about that. And that's going to be, and then if take on c3, just take here, and once again, we're going to go queen g4. Same ideas. And it's not going to be easy for black to kind of defend this position. So that's what we're going to do if they go bishop b4. Now, instead of bishop b4, you can see d5. So here, d5 is not going to work. So here we just take. If knight takes, the key idea here is bishop b5 check. Bishop check. If bishop d7, take, here, and take. And the idea is we always have this knight c7 check. So here we would just castle because there's no way for him to guard this pawn. Bishop e7, and now we can take on d5 and just be up a nice pawn. And this is going to work the same way if pawn takes d5. So if pawn takes here, bishop b5 check, and once again, here we actually have this really cool idea where we force him to go queen e7. If bishop e7, we're just going to take, or here I think we're just going to play knight f5. Because here, remember, this bishop can't take here, and if bishop takes here, we have knight takes. And he can't castle because the bishop on e7 is going to be hanging, and this is going to be a really, really tough position for black. So here, if he goes queen e7, now we take, and here we go bishop e3. So we don't actually trade queens, so we leave him with his d5 weakness. And here now this queen gets in the way of him kingside castling. And if he queenside castles here, we just play kingside castle. And now we're going to attack this king. An example variation, something like this, we have this cool move knight c6. Here, check, here, and it's going to be a lot of fun in this position. We're just going to harass this king all day. So instead of that, he can try to go a different route and go a6. So here, now we're going to go e5. So here, this knight on c3, he covers these two important squares for this knight, so he can't really go anywhere. Now he has to go back, and then we're just going to develop very normally and have a nice position. Black's wasted a bunch of time going back and forth, and it's not going to be easy for him. So here, next let's look at knight c6. So here we're going to go knight b5, and if bishop to b4, now we always have knight d6 check. If bishop takes, queen e7, and now bishop f4. And we're going to have the bishop pair, and he's going to have a lot of dark square weaknesses. So we don't mind going into this endgame. For example, e5, we just would play take on e7, if king takes, and bishop g5. And then knight d5 is coming. And once again, this bishop is a huge problem. Really not participating in this game at all. So instead of take on d6, king e7, now we just take on c8 here, and then bishop d3. And we're just going to have a normal position. But his king is going to be super out of it. Like take, and we have rook here. Heading this pawn, we're going to bring our queen over to this king side. And this is definitely worth a pawn here in this position. So that's what we're going to do if they try to go knight c6 and bishop b4, so knight b5, and if d6, we go bishop f4. Forcing e5, now bishop g5, this is going to be Sveshnikov. So here, once again, Sveshnikov we're going to go in a different video, but here we have like a very simple plan. If here, we can take here, remember queen can't take because knight c7, so pawn takes. We give him these weaknesses, and then we would just develop normally, something like maybe this. And we'll go through this in a different video, but that would be kind of the easy way to kind of play in that position. So that's what happens if knight c6. Now d6, this is very similar to a Najdorf. We can go bishop e3, but here we didn't go bishop c4. We're just gonna go f3, queen d2, and castle queenside, just like this. And then here we'll have a nice attack once again. Now lastly, what happens if he doesn't go knight f6 and he goes knight c6? We still go knight c3. If bishop b4, we can take on c6. If b takes, now we're going to go queen d4. A different way to hit this g7 pawn. Now this and this under attack. If bishop all the way to f8, you can imagine this must be good because he's just going back and forth. We go e5 and have a nice bind on the position. Bishop d3 to stop knight f5. And here we just have a very nice playable position. Instead, if he takes on c3, we can just play queen takes. And now we're going to have the bishop pair. And more importantly, we're going to have this bishop on c1. Remember, his dark squares are very weak. For example, if queen f6, bishop d2. Now instead, if he takes the other way, if he plays d takes, kind of more drawish equal way to go, we can go queen g4 to kind of spice it up. So here queen f6 and now queen g3. Now we guard this knight, and we're gonna hit the dark squares with this bishop. So that's how you're gonna want to play against knight c6. Now here, instead of bishop b4, you see queen c7. We can just go knight b3. We have the normal Kan position because we don't have to worry about d5. If bishop b4, just bishop d2, no problems there. And lastly, if knight f6, now we can go knight to b5. And this position is going to transpose to one we saw earlier, where he has to go bishop b4 and knight d6. So that's how you're going to play against the Kan. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out wolfchess.org for great lessons, videos, and more. And hope you guys were entertained.